from my view. Personal leadership, relational leadership, professional leadership. The problem with the word leadership is it's a bunch of jargon. It was actually created in the 80s, if you want to know, like the actual term. It used to be management, but it was like Industrial Revolution, all these things. So leadership started to become a thing. Well, the idea is the three of them, some people go, oh, I love leadership. I'm a leadership guy or gal. I'm like, yeah, well, no one wants to follow you. So what does that mean? It means like I'm a professional leader, meaning how do I run my business? How do I do meetings? How do I do investor reports? I'm a great leader. Like there's professional leadership. But if you haven't done personal leadership, know yourself to lead yourself, then you won't have any depth. It won't actually have influence long term. So what I'm looking at is a combination of really all three of them today. So, but mostly personal and then relational, who's on your team. So we're going to look at the whole thing. Yesterday, the piece is power is really personal leadership, right? So it's just really important to understand what leadership is and how you have to frame it. So as you're building a business, there's one other thing I would tell you. When I think about starting businesses, the real simple flow is there's three areas you have to look at. Think three circles. Number one is strategy. What's your business plan? Two is what's your financial plan? And then what's your people plan? What's your talent? That's just really simple. But you can look at it. Some of you, we were talking to, anyways, Brittany's not in here. We were talking about the aha of like, oh my gosh, I've got to figure out my financial model and my business. And I've been putting so much attention on people, which is great. So if you have strategy and people but no financial plan, what do you have? You've got a car with no gas, right? There's no fuel. It won't go anywhere. If you have strategy and capital with no people, there's no drivers. If you have capital and people with no strategy, you're just meandering all over the place. So it's the combination of all three. So what I'm going to do today is really focus on people plan. Okay, so this is my latest book. This book comes out in October. So this will be the next book. This is the, I think, 8th book written. And these are all designed to kind of help you understand. I'm going to skip over a couple of things. I'm going to go right into it. So what we found is that leading people and developing teams and talent is so hard because it's like every person that comes in, they bring their culture, they bring their ideology, and when you interview them, you're like, oh, what a great person. And then they come into your house and they start flipping their shoes, they start taking off and throwing their hoodie, and you're like, hey, we don't do that in our house. You know what I mean? Like they start living, and you start revealing who they really are. And so what happens then is you have to be a little bit more organized as a leader. So I'm going to walk you through a development plan, okay? And the goal here is to help you know yourself, to help you know who your people are. And so let me get an overview. How many people do you have on your team? 3? Okay. How many people do you guys have? 10. How many do you have? 4. How many do you have, Brittany? Your entire.
I would say like 60.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
3.
Okay.
5.
All right.
7.
Yep.
4.
All right.
40.
40.
Volunteers
20. Okay. That's what you're managing. Okay. So what I'm saying is, let's go into how do we manage talent? What do we do? So what we figured out is how do you get people through and build a roadmap for people. Now, this is super important. If you can build a roadmap for them and tell them where they're at, you're basically managing expectations. And so you manage expectations with them to go, okay, we're into the foundation stage. So what we've done is we've taken, can we get this up here at all, ladies?
Yes, almost there.
Oh, you got it. Sorry. Look at that. The voice of God. I'm like, yeah. So, okay. So what we have here is we have basically a development process. When you have people who start right here in this corner and they go all the way around from unconscious incompetence. You got a brand new employee. They're clueless and they don't really know it. They're just excited. They have high confidence in like, I'm excited, but they have low competence. They don't really know what they're doing, right? You think you've hired them for skills. Then they move over here to conscious incompetence when they start realizing, oh my gosh, I don't really know what I'm doing. But they don't tell you because they're afraid to tell you. And then they move over here to conscious competence. They're like, I think I've got this figured out. And then in the long term, it's called unconscious competence. So you can see the declining confidence, low competence, rising competence, and then here, high confident, high competence. That's what you want with your employees. You want to move them through the square, and there's an entire journey for them to get. Does that make sense? And so at all times, it's really important to know who are your people and where are they at on the journey, and then to be able to share and communicate that experience with them so that you can move them to the next level with clarity, right? And giving them and letting them know you are exactly right here. And so that's what this is about, right? So let me walk you through how we've added some other pieces to it. So we basically call this first stage the foundation stage. Foundation is onboarding. And when you think about your onboarding process, how long is that onboarding take? Some of you, it might take a week. Let's just play for a second. How much do you think? Oh, thank you, guys. How long do you think your onboarding takes? So an onboarding means we're getting you assimilated in to know not to perfect what to do, because I do it, you watch me. This is I do it, you help me. They're not helping you. They're just onboarding. How long is that process? It could take a week. It could take a month. It could take 3 months. It could maybe take 6 months, but it's probably not going to be more than that. So just for fun, how long is onboarding of a new volunteer?
Usually about a week.
Okay. Yeah. Couple months? What do you guys think?
For us, probably a month and a half, 2 months, probably.
Okay. Okay.
3 to 6 months.
Okay.
A week.
Okay.
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Depends. Yeah, 3 months.
Okay. All right. That's important to know. Lock that in. Let's get our onboarding process so tight and so good. Because if you guys ever had a puppy? Ever had a dog? It's hard to train a dog. But the more that you do, the better it's going to be for you long term. Anyone had a puppy and didn't train it very well?
Yes.
All right. What's that like? Harder to train later. So we might as well create a system for him from the very beginning. Does that make sense? So now if we do that, we're like, all right, now let's get into what that looks like. So here's the board. This now becomes your roadmap. Starting here, I do it, you watch me. I do it, you help me. We're going to get into the immersion stage. You're going to start getting into the water, but you're not swimming yet. You're just getting immersed into it, but you're helping me. But very clearly, very quickly, I'm going to start transferring things to you. And there's this hole, and it's called the pit of despair. And the pit of despair is where a lot of employees fall because they don't think they're going to make it, but they need the job. And they're afraid, so they fake it till they make it, and they get stuck in the pit of despair. And the bigger the company, the more people fall in the pit of despair because this process is not very good. And then they fall right in, and then they check in with everybody else going to work, but instead of going to their office, they go downstairs into the pit of despair with the other employees. Like, how long have you guys been down here? Yeah, who pushed you in? Tyler? Yeah, he's a jerk, isn't he? He's a jerk. And they start gossiping and slandering the boss that pushed them in. And there's a number of people in that pit of despair. And then everybody else knows they're in the pit of despair, but they work around them. Because, and it's, again, the bigger the company, this happens all the time. There's hundreds of people every single day in the pit of despair. Smaller the company, you can't really afford it. So usually what happens is they get weeded out, the smaller the company, and they get let go. But what happens if you don't do this very well, if you don't train, like training a puppy, if you don't do this very well, you create a turnover factory. And you know how much work that takes? What's the value? How much is a new hire for you? How much does it cost to take them through? This takes time, This process you all said was 1 week to 3 to 6 months, whatever. How long is it when they get to this level? How long does that process take? Okay, I do it. Now you help me. Well, that's another 3 months or 6 months or whatever amount of time. So you've now lost, if you don't do it well and train, you've lost a lot of money, right? So it's super and super important. Why don't most people do this? Is because I got to make the donuts. I got things to do. I've got clients to get. Come on, I hired you to do it. I thought you were good. I looked on Indeed and it said you were good. And that means nothing. Indeed gets them right here to the starting line. It's your responsibility to train them in your process, in your system. If you'll notice, Cultivate, they're doing a really good job. They're training you on the year. Here's the rules. Here's how we do it. And you're getting trained and assimilated into their world because they want it to maximize your benefit. It's the same with new employees. No. You're taking your past culture into our culture. Our culture wins. Right? Your company's culture wins, not their culture. So you have to assimilate to us. We don't have to assimilate to you, but we got to train you, and it's our responsibility to train. So I always think of it another way. Employees are like plants. Plants need water. They need sunlight. They need to be positioned correctly. Whose responsibility is it for a plant to grow? The plant owner and the plant. Both. It wants to grow, right? And you want it to grow, so your job is to position it to be in the right sunlight. Well, if you have a roadmap, it's just helpful. Hey, we're in foundation stage. We've got systems for it. So let me back up. Let me show you one more. So I made it right here. Once we get to this part, we're into... So what we want is we want you to help them avoid the pit of despair at all costs. If an employee gets in the pit of despair, they're probably not going to make it. It's really hard to get them out of the pit of despair. So get them past the pit of despair into the empowerment stage. That's really, really hard because they'll oscillate. They'll go 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So now we get them here, but there's another area you got to cross, another little room. It's called the green room. This is when they get cocky. This is insecure. This is over-secure. An over-secure employee, they think they're all that. And or you position them to be all that. And they're the teacher's pet. So you like them so much and they're so good, so you're like, yeah, you don't need to do this. And all the employees get to see that they're the teacher's pet, right? And now you've entitled them, or they've entitled themselves, to go in the green room and eat the snacks that weren't meant for them. They're not the ones to be on stage. Their job is to go through and get over here to multiplication, where they're unconsciously competent. You do it, I just watch you. Oh my gosh, they're amazing. And then that employee takes the next employee and takes them through the square. Now you can go, hey, Christian, can you take Joe over here and walk him through our process? Because he gets it. Now I've multiplied it into him, who's now multiplying it into him. Make sense? It's discipleship. It's apprenticeship. It used to exist. There used to be these things called apprenticeships. And an apprenticeship would be like a stonemason. All right? And we're going to build a wall today. I just need you to watch me. Here's what I do. Now I need you to help me. Now you're going to do it. I'm going to watch you. I'm going to help you. Now I'm just going to watch you. Yeah, good job. That's exactly how we do it. And apprenticeship, it was very tangible back in the old days of building a house or building a wall. In the tech era, it's super hard. Hey, watch me. Do you see how I do this email? Do you see how I did that text? You can't. It's hard to apprentice. So we have to break it down, and it's almost like a lost art. And if we can bring apprenticeship back in, it'll be the cornerstone of your people circle. It's your talent development process. If you don't have a talent development process, you have a problem. You're going to have a lot of puppies who are running around and causing all types of problems because they haven't been trained. Questions, comments on that? That makes sense?
Are there signs of like, oh, they're getting close to the pit of despair and like rerouting and kind of like pulling them up?
Absolutely.
That's a hard place to be in. I've been in that place.
Yes.
Conscious incompetence. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so in over my head.
Yep, absolutely. And the hard part in this talk is I actually have an entire book that literally I've written every single scenario of people who've gotten in the pit of despair and like how to help them avoid. If this, then this. If that, then that. So that's one of those. We'll get into it just a little bit more. So now let's go through this process and journey. So if you know who you are, if you know who you are as a leader and you know who they are as a leader, you can do some amazing things, okay? So let's just go through it for a second. So we use the 5 voices. Are you guys, Lance, are you guys going to be doing the 5 voices or going through it at all? I don't know.
Is this group?
Yeah. Okay. So if you wanted to, I can send out, hey, Natanya, I'm going to send you a link. Are you guys cool with that? You can take a free assessment, and you can take the free assessment to find out who you are and how you're wired, okay? So what it is, it's basically we took the best of Carl Jung and the best of the Big 5, and we put it together to create a simpler version of personality. Because people don't remember if I'm a high D, if I'm like Enneagram is awesome, but it's not used for leadership. And if you didn't go through it, you're like, I'm a 7 with a wing 8. And like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Or I'm an ESPN. And like, or I'm a high. Like, it's just too much jargon. So we made it simple enough to go, I'm a connector. I'm a guardian. I'm a nurturer. I'm like really simple. So a couple of things on here that are important. 73% of the population are present-oriented, okay? They're thinking about today through the weekend. Like, that's what they're thinking about. They're very task-driven, checklist-oriented people. 27% are future-oriented. They're thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about dreams. They're thinking about... So, like, when I go to Christmas at my family farm, I'll have all my relatives, and the smaller the town, the more present-oriented people there are. So rural Oklahoma has 90% present-oriented, which means the nurturers and the guardians. That'll make up the present-oriented people. And the conversations will go like this. Hey, man, got a new bass boat. Awesome. Going fishing next weekend. Great. Like, I don't know what to do with that. You know what I mean? And that's our whole conversation is about that truck, their boat, what they're using, the lure they're using, and like that's our conversations. Nothing bad. It's just that's where their world is. Very present, very tactical, tactile, those kind of things. Future orientation is me. I'm sitting over there. Like Matt and I had this crazy conversation last night. I'm sitting over here going, I wonder what the Armenian and Azerbaijan war is going to do with Russia and how that's going to affect. I mean, it's nerding out. I can't have that conversation at my family. So I'm like, love that boat. That's a great truck. But it's harder for me because I'm so future oriented. I'm looking at geopolitical, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking about like 10 years from now and I'm working my way back, right? That's where a lot of conflict exists inside teams. So it also can wear you out. If you're training a puppy, if you're training an employee, and you're a different type of, if you're a future-oriented and they're present-oriented, their onboarding is going to be very different because you're going to want to skip over it, and they're going to want to stay in it a lot longer. So it's really, really important to know. So a couple of things here on the 5 voices. I'm going to send you a link. You can take the assessment for free. It'll give you everything about yourself. But when you take it, don't try to act like somebody. Like, don't try to go with it. Just be. Just answer the questions, okay? So that you can get the right results. So 73%, so let me go through these real quick. The first one is the nurturer. There's 43% of the population, 70% of them are women. And so that's really important to understand. 70% are women, and so most of their jobs are they're in healthcare, they're in education, they're in social working, right? And it's like a God designed. They're like, yeah, well, that would make sense. We need nurturers to help raise and take care right? The low decibel is because they're quiet. They're the quietest voice. So, my friend, can I pick on you for a second?
Yes, sir.
What's your voice?
Nurture.
So this is a nurture right here. So it's where 70% are female, 30% are male, but a secure and confident nurturer male leader, the nurturer or male are unbelievable leaders because everyone trusts them because they're for everyone. So they just need to elevate their voice because their voice is too quiet and they don't think that they should talk. Or what are people going to think about me? I don't know if I have anything to add. No, they have a lot to add. So they need to elevate their voice. Okay, that's an important fact. The next quietest voice is the creative, highly introvert, and they're in their head. They're 9% of the population, and they have a hard time communicating what's in their head because they see the roadmap. They see the future more than any other voice. But they're super quiet because they don't want to lay their ideas out in front of swine. Like, meaning I'm not going to give my ideas in front, because if you don't value it, if you don't see it, I'm not going to reveal it, so I'm going to hold my cards. I'm not going to lay my cards down. So sometimes they're very hard to understand, and they have a hard time communicating what they're trying to say. Guardians are 30%, they're 70% male, and they are logic-driven, black and white. They are soldiers, accountants, they're military, police. They're very, very black and white. Engineers. Well, it's A, then B, then C, then D, and they have lots of questions, and they want templates and processes. They want Brian Banks. Do you know any of these people? Do you know? Brian's the guardian. So if you want to understand, Brian he's a great example of a guardian. Very, very thorough, very, very detailed. Then you have the connectors.
Real quick, just on the guardian, do they have trouble when it comes to leadership? Are they're more outspoken? Is how you're saying on that aspect of things, as opposed to nurture? Just curious.
So the guardians they're just very detailed, and so they may not go as fast as you want them to go. And so if they're the leader, they're going to be very thorough. If they're the employee that you hired, they're going to ask lots of questions. And so a lot. Because they need it to be logical. And like, oh, how does this? And then once it fits, got it, locked in, got it. Next. The next one is gets louder. The voices get louder and louder. The next one's the connector. They're the very, very best voice. Sorry, that's me. That's my voice. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. No, but the connectors think they are. But the connectors are like pollinators. They're like bees, and they're always buzzing around, and they always have lots of things going, and they have lots of friends, and they pollinate ideas, and they always have a guy. Oh, I got a guy. What do you need? I got a guy. I got a guy. And so it becomes like you got some connector tendencies to you. It'd be interesting to see if you are. We'll see. But my point is, when you see them, they become larger than life. But then the connectors and then the pioneers, they can steal all the oxygen out of a room. So in the meetings, when you're doing meetings, they're like, all right, guys, let's do a meeting. We're going to do best ideas. Best idea wins. I'll go first. And then we share all our ideas, and then it's like, beat that, right? And so it's hard. The pioneers, 7% of the population. And by the way, the connectors and pioneers and creatives are 50-50 men and women. But the pioneers make up 7% of the population, but they're misrepresented in leadership roles. They make up over 50% of the executive suite because people hire them to win. A pioneer is like a general. And a general goes, okay, they lock in. They're like, okay, we're taking that mountain. Everyone see it? Okay, good. I need you. I don't need the rest of you. Okay, so let's go. Well, if you're in the flow with those four are like, this is fun. We're taking ground. This is invigorating. And everyone else is like, what about us? I don't know, find something to do. But you didn't get chosen for a reason. Meaning the confidence. is a thing. So everyone else can feel like a pawn. So the more immature that leader is, the more it can feel like you're a pawn on their chessboard and they're being manipulated. When all the generals go in, it's like, guys, we don't have time. I'm allocating people and resources. That's our objective. Let's go. And so they're thinking about it way more than anybody else. They'll be thinking, so any idea that you have, like, all right, let's go. Any ideas? Yeah, no. And then if they're really immature, they're like, what did you say? Poof, no. Okay, this is exactly what we don't want. Right there, that's exactly what we want. Any other ideas?
Well, real quick, does a pioneer have issues with a sense of arrogance? Because to have that mindset, you have to have a sense of superiority. You got to tell people who's worthy, who's not. That's a sense of bravado.
I think it's just, it goes back to mature and immature. So the idea is a mature pioneer, it's not personal, it's objective. We're trying to take this mountain, I need specialists. I need the 4 specialists who can help me do that, right? The immature pioneer is like, well, I'm going to play games, and I'm going to test you guys against each other. And they just do stuff that gets really wonky and causes a lot of problems. Yes, ma'am?
So I'm pretty sure I'm a nurturer, but
Okay.
I think I've taken on a lot of the pioneer qualities just because I'm just fast-paced, let's go.
In the role.
Let's do it. I
Yeah.
mean, is that normal?
So oftentimes we play someone on TV that we're not really. Okay, so when I was writing the book, I'm like, I'm a pioneer connector for sure. Look at all the things I've built. No pioneer would do what I was doing. A pioneer would build 3, 4 companies, maybe, over their life, not 30. Like a connector would. A connector goes wide and stirs up all types of stuff. So I was playing a pioneer, but I'm really a connector, creative pioneer. So there's the foundational voice, and then you have your secondary voice. Here's the thing. We can play all the voices. The adaption of, that's what the 5 voices are so good. You don't get locked into one thing. We're all of them. But which one are you foundational? Which one, and then which is your nemesis? Okay? So for me, it's like, well, I'm a connector first, a creative second, and then a pioneer. I see the opportunity and ideas, then I create the concept, and then once we lock in, it's go time. I start pioneering and lock in to do it. All right? My nemesis voice, my last voice, is guardian. Oh, I got to do the detail. I got to actually fill out the form. I got to actually do all that stuff. It's like, oh, just so hard. And then my fourth voice, the fourth voice is the blind spot. It's nurturer. Connectors seem like they're people. It's like I love to help all the Aunt Ednas in the world solve their problem, but I don't want to spend time with your Aunt Edna. If I have to spend time with that Aunt Edna, like that's personal nurturing, I'm awful at it. I'm not very good. I don't want to do that. But I want to help all of them, just not, you see what I mean? That's what happens to each voice. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. It's going to lay that out. It's going to show you in your report, and you'll get a report, and it'll kind of give you detail on it. All right. So I don't want to spend too much time here. What I want to show you is simply if you understand this concept of like, what if every leader in your organization knew the voice of their people? What if every employee had a customized path to development? That's not theory, it's system we're building. The idea is helping everyone know who they are. Now you're training them based on who they are. Most leadership is the total opposite. Most leadership is spent on like, okay, I am who I am. Let's just go. Like I've been working with the OU football team. We have another business in sports. So I work with Florida State, Mississippi State, Clemson, Louisville, OU, and I work with coaches. And I was coaching Coach Venables, coaching all the coaches for a number of years. And we have one of the coaches, I won't say who, but he was like, look, I am who I am. I have my system. And if they don't like it, they can find another team. This is the University of Oklahoma. Okay. That was the idea. And I'm like, great, how's that working for you? Because he kept having problems with his players. The generations that were coming up are different. Okay? Then transfer portal comes in. and the players are fickle. They go one practice and they get yelled at one time. They're going to their dad or their uncle, and their uncle's going, oh, at Alabama they won't do that. You ought to go there. Then they threaten to leave, and now the coach is like, oh my gosh, my system's not working. Their system was, I'm telling you what to do, you just do it. Like a command and control. Command and control does not work in our era. It will not work in our era. So therefore, you have to adjust. So now he's asking for help. Hey, remember that stuff you were telling me? Can you tell me that again? So, like, oh, you're a guardian nurturer, and do you realize that 3 of your players are creative, 2 of your players are connectors, 5 of them are the complete opposite of you. So everything that you try is not effective because they're not resonating with you. Is that making sense? Yes.
Just curiosity question: how long has when did you start seeing the change as far as people like the generational, as far as that you can't just tell them what to do anymore? When did that shift happen? Was that 10 years ago?
It's been it's probably been 15 years or so. And it's just more and more. The joke about we were talking about yesterday, the Gen Z stare. You guys know what I'm talking about? You've seen that, heard about that? Those dynamics are at play. So no lie, Walmart has asked me to help them create a program. So I went to meet with Walmart, and they're like, this is just too much. I'm like, really? Like, really, really simple. Like, yeah, can you dial it down? I did it even simple. No. You don't understand. We're trying to train our merchants, 20-somethings, how to shake hands. We want you to teach them how to shake hands, how to look people in the eye, how to verbally communicate with no technology. I'm like, what? Yeah, we just need basic presentation skills. Who does presentation skills in here? Who is that? Some of you? No, none of you? Okay. But my point is they needed that. And I'm like, we need social acumen. And they're training on the most basic things at Walmart headquarters. And these are like really high-paying 20-somethings. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. So that's the reality of where we're at. So, okay, so we got all of this together. This is now your map. By the way, what time is it?
48 to 9:48.
Okay, thanks. I'm seeing how much time I have. So now let's go through this process. Now, foundation. Got it, right? So what does your onboarding look like? You can take a picture of this if you want, but this is the idea. What is your onboarding? Is there a clear pre-boarding experience? We can't wait to have you, Tammy. Super excited about there's like a thing. There's a warm welcome and cultural integration. You're going to be with Ashley this week. She's going to be your Sherpa for the entire week. She's going to walk you through and help you, right? Yeah, you've got a structured orientation process. This is what you're going to be going through. We've got role clarity. This is what we're going to need you to do, and here's what our expectations are. Strong manager involvement, access to tools, relationship building, learning and development, feedback and support structures, sense of belonging and contribution. You're training a puppy. What do you want them to do? They're entering your culture. Create a system. The more you create that system, the better it's going to be for your business plan, for your financial plan, because they're not going to disrupt it later. Cool? I'm fire hosing you, so there's a lot here. Now, let's go into this. This is now you start putting the voice-driven leader into place. The voice-driven leader is, have you ever heard the golden rule? What's the golden rule? Yeah, say it a little.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah. Well, I don't need a hug. Do you? I don't need one. I didn't get training. So figure it out, right? So it gets misinterpreted all the time. So the platinum rule, do unto others as they would want done. It is the golden rule. It's the same. It kind of works itself out. What did they need? Well, who are they? So now you speak their language. So when I used to live in Europe, I'd fly all over, and we'd go to France and different places and go into a restaurant. And if you dare go, coffee, black, no sugar, like that doesn't work well. Like it gets spit in your coffee. But if you could parlez-vous français, and then you ask try the language, they'll appreciate that you're trying their language. I speak Russian. When I speak to a Russian, как жизнь? Ты понимаешь? Ты говоришь по-русски, да? Look at it. No. Do you speak Russian? No. So, but if you did and you heard your language, you would liven up to it. So the idea is speak the language of your employees. Are they a nurturer? Learn the language. Are they a guardian? Learn the language. Learn their language and then figure out how do they learn? What do they need to do their job? So if you know who you are, which is a key to this, then you need to start knowing who your employees are. Now, once you know who you are and who they are, where are they on the board? Are they at this stage, this stage, this stage, this stage? And that's where you start moving them through. Making sense? All right. So this process of going in, your job is to then get them to all the stages. This is just the immersion stage. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. But it's just that every single stage has things you do to get, okay, this is foundation stage, got it. Now, immersion stage, you're going to start doing the work with me. Here's what we need to make sure, right? So then we get to this point. I'm sorry I'm speeding through this, but there's just a lot. So once you come through here, we're avoiding this pit of despair. We're going to talk about this pit of despair a lot. Hey, this is the pit of despair. We had someone that worked with us. Here's what happened with him. I don't want that to happen to you. We're going to avoid that pit of despair. I want you to tell me if you feel like you're getting in the pit of despair. Way ahead. Because we're going to avoid it at all costs. We just talk about it out loud. We're going to get you through, but you're going to feel consciously incompetent. I did. They did. It's natural. But we need you to do the work with us, and I need to see your progress along the way. So it's going to feel uncomfortable. I just want you to know. The more you can lay that out, the more you can share expectation, the more potency you'll have, the more opportunity that person is going to be trained effectively. Cool? All right. I'm getting to all of it. How do you help people? I'm going to move this. How to keep people out of the pit of despair. Here's some other examples. Again, this is just too much for our time. But it's in our book, the voice-driven leader, it is just, you'll be underlining a lot of this. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, I'm biased. But then we get into the empowerment stage, right? We're moving through. I'm going to keep moving. Here's the empowerment stage of what needs to happen, the tips. And then we get over here to the green room. We want to get past the green room. So then what has to happen to get people into the multiplication stage? I'm going to leave time for this last section here. So forgive me for all of the slides. I have a tendency to overview slides. Right, Ashley? All right, here's the game. If you know who you are, you know who they are, you know the roadmap, you know where to put them. Now you go, take your people, and where are they? I'm going to give you one more tip that I think is super important. The most important employees in your organization are your people who lead people, your people managers. Anyone who leads someone else, whatever level, supervisor, director, VP, they're the most important. Brian, how many employees do you have? How many people lead people? Guesstimate? Those are all the people that lead all those 200? Okay. So you have 10 people. Those 10 people are your most important people. We call them Sherpa. The Sherpa on Mount Everest. A Sherpa's job is to climb while helping people climb. Okay? Leadership is the combination of both. You have to perform while leading performers. That's why leadership gets paid a little bit more. It's just more responsibility. So, Brian, let's play a game. Pick one of them in your mind. You got them? Okay. 1 through 10, how is it a girl or a guy? Okay. How is her performance 1 through 10?
Strong 8.
An 8. Okay, great. See how fast that was? Subjectively, it was an 8. How strong is her leadership 1 through 10?
7. Once to development.
8 to 7. Great. What has to happen to get her to a 9? 8. That's the game. You take your Sherpa spend your time doing Sherpa development. The Sherpas will take all your employees through this. They're the ones who are responsible for training them. Your job is to train them. So now you take all of those 10 and do that same assessment with all 10 of them and then average it all together. When I do that with companies, the average Sherpa score is 6.4. 6 performance, 4 in leadership. I'm like, how's that working for you? We're just kind of struggling. Well, what has to happen to get to an 8.7? An 8.7 is your goal. I would take a 6.8. 6 in performance and 8 in leadership all day long. Does that make sense? So those people got...
Well, here's a quick confession. So I have time with that person, mentoring that person every 2 weeks on my calendar block, and that time often gets squeezed out by the urgency,
Making the donuts.
by the making it done in the urgency of the day, and so it doesn't happen. So it's got to be super productive to do it.
Yeah. So now write this number down. How many people do you have who lead people? Write that down. If you want to play that game that I just did, put them in a circle. Charisse, Mike, whatever, Jose, whoever they are, what's their performance, 1 through 10? What's their leadership, 1 through 10? Then average them all together. That will be your Sherpa score. If you're having issues, it might be a Sherpa issue. You train the Sherpas, they'll take care of the rest. But you're training them in this. So now if you know that, you go, who's the leader? Who's the Sherpa? Who's on their team? How many people do they have on their team? And where are they? Like specifically, oh, we got a brand new. Okay, who are they? They're a nurturer. Okay, pioneers are horrible at the foundation stage, traditionally. Impatient. Like, really? Just do it. Yeah, here's what you do. Go. No. Nurturers need a lot more love than that. They need to be loved on. If you're with another pioneer, they don't need much foundation stage. Okay, what do I need to do? Got it. Okay. And then they'll be over here too fast. The connectors will be too fast. See where I'm going? So this idea is that you're basically working to always know who you are, know who they are, and know where they are. But you're now giving them a game plan, and now you can create expectations for training your puppies so that they actually turn out to be who you want them to be. If you don't do the work, you're going to get the results. You didn't train the puppy, and it's a little bit of a mess. You just chewed up your shoe. And now you're frustrated because you got to get new shoes. And so now everything is about your frustrations of your people. So everyone who I talk to, they're like, oh, I'm so mad at so-and-so, and this happened, and that happened, and this happened. Like, well, you don't have a system. You're not training them. You're just letting them free range. Free range leadership doesn't produce what you want. All right, let's go. Questions, comments to any of that? How is this helpful? Any feedback that you want to give me would be helpful because I'm launching this book in a couple weeks.
I just pre-ordered it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Is that only question I have to top of my head for those of us who are dealing with volunteers? Obviously, there's some similarities in that. Is there anything different in that context?
Yeah, so you have less control. But you still have an onboarding process. You still have some sort of immersion. If they get in the pit of despair to volunteer, they're just going to leave probably. So how do you then get people so that you don't have a turnover problem in a volunteer world? So you make it simple enough for them to onboard, and then give them vision. This is what empowerment looks like. Like, give them case studies. This is what the best in this role that we're asking you to do. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's awesome. Here's what she does. Here's how she does it. Give them an example that they can emulate and shoot for.
I got a question.
Yep.
So, are you,
No, please go.
so what is a leader? Like, how do you rank that? Like, you say, 1 to 10. I'm like, so is the person just loud? Is that makes them a leader, right? Or
No.
is it certain things? Is it because they charge? Like, how do you scale leadership?
Now, a leader is someone who's responsible for taking people, who are managing people. If you're not managing people, you're a climber. You're a performer. You're not a leader. A leader is someone who has to do their work. I'm responsible for you 3. Okay, I'm a leader now. If I'm not responsible for anyone, it's just me, I'm not a leader. That's jargon that gets put on people for who are just climbers. They're just high performers. There's a difference between high performers and leaders. Performers performing while leading people. So think of the Sherpa on Mount Everest. That's the best example to think of. They have to be the highest, they have to be the healthiest in the room. No one wants to follow the asthmatic Sherpa. You got to be healthy, and then you got to lead people at the same time that you're climbing yourself.
So you're ranked as a leader by how you lead people, and that's how you scale. That's how you scale leadership. It's by how you take them. Like
Yeah, I'm trying to take these 3 people into their job, right? Yeah. What's his role? What's her role? What's his role? My job is to get them into that role and make them the most effective as possible in that role. That's leadership. Okay. Make sense?
Yeah, it does now. Yeah.
Last question, and we'll finish.
One of the areas of how to prevent burnout or pit of despair is voice-specific encouragement. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the 3 things you have to do to avoid burnout. You've got to share a vision. Has to be short-term and long-term. Tanya, I'm almost there. Sorry. I'm going to share this one, and then we'll go. This will answer it right here. Come on. Wow, I have a lot of slides, Jeremy. I skipped over it. So the idea is you have to share vision, you have to have time, and you have to have encouragement. Don't know what I did with it. There it is. There you go. It's right here. So time, vision, encouragement. They need time. They need informal and formal time. They need short-term and long-term vision. They need specific encouragement, not general. So, all right. Yes, ma'am.
I think I remember you saying once they hit that pit, they either leave or maybe get let go. But is it possible to coach them out of the pit and then get them back on track?
It's like if you see the tendencies that are going into the pit, that's when you want to catch them. If they're in there, you can help them get out, but they typically, you have to start all over with the foundation stage and train them all over again. They may not want to do that.
Is the pit of despair contagious?
Could be in a cultural dynamic. If you have a culture that's unruly, people will start talking and spread. Okay, was that helpful? There's a lot. But it's just trying to give you practical views of going, look, you've got 3 circles. Business plan, you're going to be working on that with Cultivate. Your financial plan, you're going to be talking about that with Cultivate. People plan, what's your system? There's a system for it. So just be aware that you've got to be very intentional for that to be effective. It's been good to be with you guys. Thank you, guys. Yeah.